We can go out with that if you want to.
Hey, dude. I mean,
You know what I
I
mean?
think it's kind of cool to hear. I love like when my buddies like write something and then they just kind of throw it out there. I think
Yeah.
I find appreciation for that because I know that they're working.
Yeah, well, let's do
You
that.
know,
Let's
I
Understood.
know
play
that
it on
they're
the
out
exit.
there. They're writing. They're actually working. This isn't something that's just talked about and then we got this nice produced little song. I mean, let's
Sure.
show what happens. You know.
Yeah, no, that's
Understood.
cool. The people will love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it on the outro.
It was Texas, it was Tennessee.
Welcome in, folks. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name's Steve. Over in the upper left-hand corner, this is Soul Gravy. It's his podcast. We are excited to be part of it. And tonight, very excited to introduce my friend Christopher Wright to the podcast. Welcome in, Christopher.
What's up, fellas? Good to
Yeah,
be
man.
here.
Good to have you, man.
Yeah.
Been looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
We knew we had some stuff going on around this date, so hopefully this will catch all the ears at the right time. But we're thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, man. It's good to be here.
Cool. Christopher, do you mind giving us, for those that maybe aren't as familiar with your work, just giving a little backstory about yourself and kind of what you've been up
Yeah,
to?
man. Well, we live out just in North Texas right now in Prosper, Texas, about 25 miles north of Dallas. But I'm originally from East Texas, Tyler. I was born in Tyler and raised in a little town called Hawkins, Texas. It's actually just up the road from Lindale, where old Miranda Lambert has made famous these days. There's a bunch of East Texas cats that have been in the music business. So, but anyways, yeah, my folks, my mom moved us up here in when I was in high school. I went to high school at Allen High School, and then I went to Texas Tech University. When I went to school out there, these cats were a little older than me, but Corey Morrow and Pat Green and a lot of those guys were in Lubbock. They were doing their thing, and Corey's actually also a fraternity brother of mine, so he's just on up in the ranks from me. So we weren't in school at the same time, but we've done festivals since together, and it's a cool thing. But anyways,
For sure.
when I was in college, my dad basically was one of those pops that said, "You're never going to make any money with that at GD guitar, so you need to get a real job."
Turns out he was right.
So yeah,
Damn
so I did that whole, I begrudgingly just kind of started trudging the road of corporate world and doing all that stuff, but I never stopped writing. I've been writing songs since I was a kid. I mean, the first song that I actually wrote was a song called "The Calm Inside of Me," and I found it in the back of an Indigo Girls music book. It was an old ass book, but I found it and we took it to Nashville and we actually recorded it. It's a great tune if you get a chance to check it out. But yeah, I was 15 when I wrote that song. So the only reason I knew that was because it kind of dated where I stashed that song. So
Makes sense.
man, ever since it became glaringly obvious to me that there was a major fork in the road in 2016. I had acute liver failure, and because cocaine and whiskey, man.
It's a hell of a combo.
So I had drank myself into a position where my body shut down on me, but before all of that, I had stacked up enough credits with the state of Texas to where they were going to give me an extended stay in Huntsville. So I had made all the bad decisions to get me to that point, man. So 2016, it all kind of came to a head, and my body gave out on me, and it was really a miracle, man. I had a guardian angel that was working overtime, and the entire community in Allen actually rallied around and put a golf tournament on and sent me to Jacksonville, Florida to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And I got sober in 2016. And
Awesome, man.
and I've been doing that thing since. And it's just been, I kept, I had a business that I was running. I mean, God only knows how I was even operating because I was not doing well. But I had an entity that was set up and doing okay, and I started focusing on putting a war chest together because I knew that this was the thing that I was going to do. My dad was always really my best friend, so he was always asking me. He passed in 2021, but he was asking me there towards the end, the last 4 or 5 years of his life. He stopped asking me about my businesses that I was rolling with, and he wanted to know about the music that I was doing, man.
Oh,
So when he passed in 21, bro, I was like, I don't have a hair on my ass if I don't do this 100, because this is the purpose that I always felt good in. I knew like, this thing felt right. The other thing was like, I'm trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. Mm-hmm. And it was almost like, now I feel like he's just watching me all the time. And it's doors have opened. Well, I met Ray Wiley Hubbard, and I mean, he was my hero that I used to listen to when I'm riding around in my dad's 1979 Chevy. I'm listening to Up Against the Wall, Redneck Mother, bro.
Absolutely.
Now I'm working with this man. So
how cool is that?
There is a God, and he's good. So
awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. I think Soul Gravy has something that he wants to tell us about Hawkins.
Yeah, that's where my dad lives, and all of my siblings went to Hawkins High School.
What's your last name?
Then we'll talk about that off there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we might have warrants or something. I don't know. I don't want to incriminate anybody. Usually my last name follows up with, yeah, they're usually like you have discouraged our last name because you don't have warrants. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So hey, so do you know any Wrights from Hawkins?
I don't know very many people there at all. I mean, I visit, like a week out of a year. So
okay, so the Red Rooster right there, right next to the Brookshires. Well, that place is ran by Brandon Baker and Aaron Wright. That's his wife. That's my cousin. That's my my dad's brother's daughter. So that little spot right. My family has a sand plant up Highway 14. They used to mine sand and build golf courses and masonry sand and all that stuff. Hawkins is it's where it's at, dude. 1,304 people.
Exactly.
What are the chances?
I know.
Well, Christopher, you're going to have to bear with us. We have a little bit that we do at the beginning of each show. And essentially I quiz Soul Gravy on famous people from where you're from.
I know one famous person from Hawkins without research. So
all right. Well, here's the deal.
Simmons?
No. We're not going to do Hawkins because I feel like we're going to end up coming back to it. So we're going to do Prosper instead. Plus the list is a little longer.
Right
yeah,
I don't know the name of the lady, but the lady that played Aunt Jemima was from Hawkins, and because they are the pancake capital of the world. Every town in East Texas is the something capital of the world, like the Needle Point capital. And I had no idea. I don't know what my current town is the capital of anything, but maybe one day we'll be the capital of something. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Well, I can tell you why that's the pancake capital of the world.
Okay.
There was 2 cats coming from Shreveport up I-80 to Dallas to sell their syrup, and they stopped at Petty's Cafe right there at 80. And Aunt Jemima, she was working at that cafe. She had a do-rag on her head, and they asked her, "Can we use your image to sell our syrup?" They did a contract right there. By the way, during that whole cancel culture thing, that family was pissed.
I bet so.
I bet they were. I would be as well.
Yeah, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
All right, Soul Gravy. Prosper, Texas. Prosper, Texas is about, I can get to Prosper in 4 or 5 minutes from where I am. So Christopher and I are pretty close.
Okay.
All right. So here's the list. You got to tell me why this person is famous. Davis Webb.
I don't know.
Former professional football player. He's a coach now. Tanner Usry.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Tanner Esray's work. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, shout out Tanner. Sometimes his dad will swing through the lives, which is pretty
Mr.
cool.
Roy.
We saw him down at Mile Zero Fest a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Tanner's great. All right. Ann Ward.
Man, that name sounds really familiar, and I don't know why.
She was winner of the 15th America's Next Top Model. I did not know about Ann.
No, yeah. Her name,
Shout out to her.
No.
That's obscure.
Yeah,
some of these are a little obscure, but some of them aren't. Jared Reddick.
Is that JJ Reddick?
Can I play?
Yeah, you can play, of course.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it, so you can
I was
chime
going
in
to
a
say
second.
JJ Reddick too. Is he
Okay.
a basketball player?
No, Jared Reddick is the lead singer for Bowling for Soup.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
I know
right.
Jared and his hair.
Yep.
I was thinking of I was thinking of Duke basketball.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that would have been a good guess too. All right, Ronald Kaufman.
I don't think I know. No, Andy Kaufman.
Ronald was an Olympic figure skater, which I mean,
He's from Prosper?
yeah, isn't that wild?
Wow.
Like it's not really a cold weather place. So
Yeah.
maybe he retired there. I don't know the whole background, but shout out to Ronald. I know these two guys currently still live in Prosper. I don't think they're originally from Prosper, but I'll give you two: Torrey Hunter and LaTroy Hawkins.
Okay.
Yeah, familiar
I
with.
just got through working out with Randy White. He lives here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Manster.
Yeah, Randy. He didn't make my list. He should have. I don't know why he didn't, but shout out to Wikipedia. Torrey Hunter played for Twins, Anaheim Angels. I think did he play for the Rangers for a little bit too, maybe?
Yeah, I think he had a swim through here.
So.
Yeah. He has a couple pretty good barbecue places around if you like barbecue. And then LaTroy also played for a bunch of teams as well. Justin Forsett. Does that name sound familiar?
It does.
Did he play for Tampa Bay?
I think he played for Baltimore, but he might have played for Tampa Bay as well. Good question. Mark Fine, Fein.
Ray Fine's cousin.
I don't know. I have no clue.
That's a really good guess. He's a journalist and an NBC news anchor.
Oh, that might have been a good guess.
This one is really going to throw you. Todd Eldridge.
I
know
don't think
Todd
I'm
Eldridge
familiar.
in Hawkins High School.
Well, could be him, but I'm going to guess.
Following you.
This was a 3-time Olympian and 6-time world champion figure skater. This is the second figure skater from Prosper.
Wow, we got figure skating greatness in Prosper. I used to dove hunt out here.
They still dove hunt in Frisco, parts of Frisco, which is wild. You got to pay attention to what's going on. Don't look up. All right, Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Matt Carpenter's work. He was a Cardinal at one point in time.
He was. Played for the Yankees for a while. I think he played for the Padres maybe too. I'm not sure.
I couldn't. I was trying to remember where he came from before the Cardinals, but I don't.
All right, and then the last one that I have is Chris Buescher.
I don't think I know that. I don't think I know. No.
He drives the number 17 car.
Yeah, I was thinking race car driver.
He drives for Roush.
I should have went with my gut.
Shout out to Prosper.
Which is starting this weekend, right? And it's supposed to be up and going, the 500 this weekend.
It is Sunday.
With the Chris Stapleton car. Didn't I see that too?
I think so. I'm not sure who's driving it, but yeah.
It's just traveling around the track.
There you go.
Do you know that dude wrote Honky Tonk Badonkadonk?
Yes. He's written a lot of stuff. He's written a lot of stuff. We have
I love that story.
Yeah, that's wild, right? Yeah, that was with was it Big Loud when he was working for Big Loud in Nashville, and they were It was kind of that just weird time or whatever.
Mhm.
Shout out to Nashville. All right. So, all right, Chris, thanks for letting us indulging us on Prosper. One of the things I did want to share about Prosper, though, it is definitely a massively growing town, but it's not a huge town. That's a pretty wild list for
Yeah.
a town that probably has 60, 70,000 maybe now. I don't know.
Well, we have there's like just north of town, the Gentle Creek golf course is right by where Dion built that big mansion right there.
Oh, yeah.
So when all the
Dion used to live
Cowboys
there.
started
Yeah.
coming out, like athletes started, we have a ton of professional golfers and
Yep.
athletes all around here because we have the PGA is right here. And
Yep.
then you've got like,
Between us.
I mean, like we're in, like, this is where you can literally, I played all the way through high school and I wanted to play at Texas Tech, but I realized that D1 golf talent's different. But the reason these kids in Texas are so freaking good is because they have amazing golf courses that they can play almost all year long.
Right. Makes a huge difference. Yeah. I didn't even talk about Dak or Dion, but that area, there's Aqib Talib, who used to play for the Broncos, and Chris Harris. All those guys lived up in that same area, but a couple of them have moved on. But yeah, it's a wild.
Kofi Anderson lives up the road.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How about that? Shout out to Prosper.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to get into some questions about you. Otherwise, we're going to end up spending all our time talking about famous people. But all right, so this first question is the strangest question I will ask, I think, for the rest of the chat. But I call it the pie question. So I'm going to give you a pie, and we're going to divide it up into 4 sections. And those 4 sections have to do with the music business. So the first slice or piece of pie is the creation of the music, so the songwriting. Mm-hmm. The second slice is recording. Third slice is performing, and then the fourth slice is everything else that goes into running your own music business. So all the stuff that is included that's not part of the really, I mean, it is part of the music, but it's not exactly part of the music, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so my first initial question with that is, which of those 4 areas do you feel like you kind of naturally go to? What do you gravitate? What are you best at in terms of those areas?
Well, it feels like sometimes that's kind of a seasonal question, it feels like. And the seasons, I'm not meaning like winter, summer, fall. I mean more like in my life.
Yeah.
So it's like I have it's kind of like in 23, I kind of spent a lot of that time in a writing space, you know, and I put together a culmination of a bunch of songs. And then I played, I have an idea of how much money I need to make too, you know, so I know how much I need to book, and then what I can do to be able to, you know, to keep this thing up, you know,
Make
on the tracks.
Yeah.
So ultimately it's been about trying to find a balance between those things. If I were to say, what do I like doing the best? I feel like I learn the most when I'm in a studio and I'm around studio musicians. I feel like I also I feel like my creative side, my spirit, when I go to Nashville, I do a lot of writing in Nashville. I got a lot of friends. I go out there 1 week every month, and we write together. I play on that Music Row Freak show out there, so I'm involved in that really just amazing creative culture that has work behind it. You know what I mean? Not just farting around. I mean, those folks are pounding out work. You know, I mean, some of these people are writing 4 or 5 songs a week. You know what I mean? Like crushing it.
Yeah.
And I just find that is like being embedded with all of those amazing folks. It's really that iron sharpens iron kind of thing. I feel like I grow like that. But you know, it's really all like, just like the way that you described it, but except for the 4th piece of the pie has to it's more like there's 3 pieces, and then you got to spread that 4th piece across the top of all of them. That's
a good way to put it. Yeah,
on the cake, really, because it comes into play all day, every day. Like you're constantly having to adjust things on your social media, or make sure that you're sending out the right messages that you want to. Like, I mean, today was one of those days where, I got a phone call from Barbara FG, who did amazing artwork and took some cool pictures on this project that we have with Ray and my folks at Rise Music. They managed my media and everything, and they sent out those photos, and they didn't tag the photographer. Little things. You know what I mean? Like little.
I know exactly what you mean.
But that's a significant thing. I mean, we really want to get Barbara's credit up there because she did a fantastic job. And she's an amazing artist. So, so that being said, you always there's always that kind of stuff. But then there's, playing, dude. That's like when you're playing live and you're actually sitting next to your boys and it's happening. Right. Dude, I think that's when you get to breathe. That's when you actually get a chance to. It's like. You get to kind of enjoy it a little bit, you get to kind of, I don't know. It's like an exhale, it's like, I'm in it. And then you get all jacked up and you don't come down if you're like me, you don't come down for at least a day or so. And then, it's rinse and repeat, man.
Right. Does the performing part feel like, it sounds like it feels like the reward,
I think so. I do. I feel like it's like the reward, but it's also kind of the test. It's like, have you sharpened your iron enough? But it gives me, I love it when my wife comes along because she'll video and it gives me, something to work on. I don't watch it because I like watching myself on video because I don't. It makes me, it's hard for me to watch it. But I have to because I know I'll be like, damn it, why am I rushing that right there? I don't, you know what I mean? Just those little things that, I don't know.
Soul Gravy loves it when we hop in and watch his live performances and make critiques. So,
yeah.
No, but I'll download my like a TikTok live or whatever, and like I'll be thinking like I'll be on like that was at least like a 9 right there. That was pretty good. Then I'll listen back and I'm like. Yeah, that was like a 4 right there.
Yeah.
Got to have some space to work on, right?
Yeah. But, it used to be a 3, so whatever, for making progress.
Hey, that's right, though, man. It used to be a 3. No shit. That's true. I went and did, do you know Maylee Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was over there doing she's got a show on KHYI here.
Homegrown.
Texas Homegrown.
Yeah.
And so I popped on her radio show this week on Monday, and I love her. She's great. She's helped me this whole way. 4 years ago, she got me on Texas Music Revolution, and that was actually where I met Ray. Was in the green room, and Charlie Crockett comes walking in the green room. I see this big boom mic over my head. I don't know what's going on. I'm talking to Ray. I look over, and it's Charlie Crockett, and he comes up and he goes, "Hey, Ray, come in here." There's a camera and everything going. He goes, "Hey, Ray, come over here. We got to get this money." Well, that was the documentary that they did on TMR for the 25th year. And I haven't seen it yet, but apparently I'm in that deal. You have seen it?
Yeah, it's cool. I've seen you in it. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. But anyways, Charlie comes up to Ray and he's like, "Come here, Ray. We got to get that money." I was like, man, this is surreal right now. I don't know what I look like in there, but I can tell you what I'm thinking at the time. Is I'm like, what the fuck just
Well, there's
happened?
a lot of personality between Ray and Charlie.
Oh,
I mean,
Dude.
between those two, right? Yeah. How much fun would that be?
Dude, that's like, that's being a fly. I guess I was a little bit more than a fly on the wall there.
Yeah.
There.
Very cool.
I want to make sure we talk about the Nashville thing. We bring it up every now and then on the pod, and we all know that the Nashville thing can kind of get a bad or it can be a misinformed bad rep as far as what really goes on in Nashville compared to what's on top 40 country radio. So how did you get involved in that world as far as making it out there to write like that? And then I guess what are some things that you have picked up since you started doing that?
Man, you know what? I had a really good Tanner is my manager, really. I mean, he's been helping me with so many different things. And but when I hooked up with him. He introduced me to some people in Nashville, and that convinced me. I also had a lady that I was working with who was involved with contemporary Christian music in Nashville. And she had said, you got to get out here. You got to get plugged in. If nothing else, come out here and network. You just need to get in the middle of it and get to know how it's working out here. And to me, that made sense. So I know this seems crazy, but I thought it made sense, so much so that in 2021, I drove to Nashville every single month. Did the same thing where I was a week out there. I drove out there on a Sunday night late. It's 9.5 hours to be there, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I drove home on Thursday all day to play shows on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I did that for like a year and a half. And that was like, I put a ton of miles on the truck, and, but I kept doing it because I saw the value there. And so that's just embedding the importance of it, right? So having said that, what I learned there that made me do that was that the people there were not like everybody had told me that they were going to be. It wasn't pretentious. It wasn't cutthroat. It was actually the opposite of that. I had people coming around me and like open arms saying, wow, let's work together. How can we I felt more like a community, and especially at the local in Nashville. And shout out to those people because they have such an amazing community of writers that lift each other up. And they've had cuts with Cody Johnson and Lainey Wilson and Miranda Lambert. And, I shared a stage with Dave Gibson, who wrote with Confederate Railroad back in the day. I'm talking about we're going all the way back to 90s country, and all those folks, those writers are right there. Dude, that's like, for me as a writer, I mean, that it doesn't, there are a lot of places around Texas that have great ways for us to play and make a living playing music. But one of the things that I've talked to a lot of my friends in this business is that we're so spread out that I don't know that we feel like, I don't know that, or at least this is just my experience, but I don't feel that same sense of community like you see in Nashville. And the reason and that's not a knock against Texas and against Nashville, it's just observation of like, it's so concentrated where all of these writers are in Nashville that it's a pool of talent that you can find your niche in, and you don't have to spread all the way out all over hell and half of Georgia to find out where everybody is. And nowadays, thank God you've got like things like Zoom and everything, but dude, doing a write with somebody on Zoom, I can't, I mean, I can, but it's just, I don't know, it misses something. So something about getting face-to-face, writer to writer, and sharing a story or a concept, and then having that concept, grab some legs, and then, like, oh shit, I think we got something here, and grind it out, finish the song. Don't just go, okay, we're going to put a pin in it. Is accountability. There's an accountability factor that I saw out there where they're having to finish songs. Because a lot of them are published. Like, these kids got publishers that are having them, they got to turn in X, Y, similar number of songs a month. So like I said to you guys, it shows the work, it's not just this. When I started treating this like a job, like 8 to 5, like I get up, I work out, and then I have things that I need to do that I dedicate time on for creative. I have a time where I have to like take care of my business. So I try to block time during the day the best I can. And, I think that's kind of, that's it, man. I feel like the best way to do it is to surround yourself with people that are smarter than you are. What is it? Someone said, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, it's something I never have to worry about. So
I
that's
never
cool.
see,
Yeah.
and I know that I do not have to worry about out there.
Um,
Or here.
I want to point out, we don't say this very often about our own thing. Make sure you, if you're watching this podcast, make sure you sub and like and rate and all that kind of stuff on all the platforms. But follow us on all the TikTok stuff and on the YouTube lives when we do these recordings, because we have questions in the chat. So you were talking about, I don't know, I didn't know if you saw that or not. We did get a question as far as, since you started. I'm assuming when you first started writing, it was you by yourself, and then you start getting into the co-writing world. As that changed, do you prefer co-writing now over by yourself, or does it just depend on the song?
I was really I was awkward about co-writing at first because I had written as a kid, and then it was always like poems. And because my family wasn't like a musical family, where we didn't sit around and play the piano and write songs. What I have friends now that I'm finding out that's like what they did, in their households, right? So we didn't grow up like that. So a lot of times my poems, my songs that I wrote, I did it undercover, man. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say ashamed of it, but it was like, that was personal, So to co-write for me was kind of like really stepping outside my comfort zone. But to answer your question, since I stepped outside my comfort zone and I realized that getting another person's perspective on the way that the words are happening or whatever, because I can sit there and beat this thing down and someone can go, hey man, but why don't you just not put a word there? Right. And I'm like, well, fuck, I didn't think of that.
Right.
But, yeah. Okay, silence. Leave some space there. I wouldn't have thought of that because I'm grinding a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
totally.
Just
Completely.
to have, and then you know what? There's folks out there that are doing like 4s and 3 people writes and what, it's kind of like, and I have done some writes here in Texas where, like if you're in the room, you're on
credit.
So.
Yeah. The guy that went to go get coffee for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you know what? Shout out also to the folks in the chat, because I realized I did. Aaron mentioned that I did forget Uncle Becca. Inappropriate trucker hats is also from Prosper. So thank you for that. Totally
I love her. She's like my wife and I. We absolutely love her. She's like right down the street.
Don't they have a couple of friends of the podcast that are going to be putting on a show in Prosper, Texas?
Yeah, I think in April. And the tickets are free too, so all you have to do is just go register. So yeah, that'll be cool.
Adam, yeah.
Becca's so cool, man. She's funny as shit.
Taylor and Adam both are going to be at that, so that'll be fun. Well, shocking. We've made it through 30 minutes, so I think it's probably time that we give you all a listen to one of Christopher's songs. It's called Off to the Races. Anything that you would like to share on that, sir?
Man, I was telling you, I drive back and forth to Nashville all the time. Well, like halfway between here and there is pretty much halfway is Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
So Angela and I were driving back from Nashville, and it was Easter. So I woke up. We were in this little Airbnb, and it was on Sunday. And I woke up, and it was like I knew that it was the last race of the year for Oaklawn for the horse races.
Right.
But it was Easter Sunday. So I felt a little bit kind of like a heathen, because I wanted to go gambling on
nothing better
Sunday,
to do on Easter morning.
Easter Sunday. So, but hey, I literally wrote this song in the bed as I woke up next to my wife, and I go, I got a pocket full of money and a fist full of dreams.
Nice. Very nice.
So I was like, well, let's find another way to pray to see what the praying does. Like, come on, 7 horse. No, just kidding. But anyway, so yeah, so I wrote that song there, I like it. The guy who's playing the mandolin back there, you'll recognize some of the feel for it because that's Cody Braun, man. That's Reckless Kelly right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, man.
Very cool.
Christopher Wright. The song is called Off to the Races. Here we go.
Yeah.
Pocket full of money, fist full of dreams, looking to make it taste like Capone down in Hot Springs. Something about the starter, the trumpet and the gun, the little ounce of love can. We both know that I'm done. I was mama's little heathen. I was daddy's wildcat. Alive wild with my hair on fire. I was never no preacher man. Betting on the wrong ones, looking fast in the gate, taking all the right turns, headed the wrong way. I thought it was too late to ride my way back in, but I'm off to the races again. Some days I'm the last one to reach that finish line. Some days I'm a bullet speeding faster than the light. Threw my money down on Sunday, one for the man above. Find another way to pray, see what the praying does. I was mama's little heathen. I was daddy's wildcat. Alive wild with my hair on fire. I was never no preacher man. Betting on the wrong ones, looking fast in the game, taking all the right turns, headed the wrong way. I thought it was too late to ride my way back in, but I'm off to the races again. I'm running, running, running. I was mama's little heathen. I was daddy's wildcat. Alive wild with my hair on fire. I was never no preacher man. Betting on the wrong ones, looking fast in the game, taking all the right turns, headed the wrong way. I thought I was too late to ride my way back in. I'm off to the races again. Yeah, I'm off to the races again. Yeah, I'm off to the races again.
Yeah, man. I
There we
appreciate
go.
you pointing out that the nugget on it about the little mandolin and everything.
Well, and that's a great segue too, because Cody's little brother, we just found out the other day, will be joining us on the 26th of March. So Mickey from Mickey and the Motor Cars will be joining us. So yeah,
Very
thanks for that.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excited to chat with him as well.
All right. Yeah, he did some fiddle and some mandolin on that. Man, we had also, well, Lucas Hubbard is on there too, Ray's kid. He's amazing. And a cat named Tobin Dale from out in Nashville. He plays with Ray every now and then, but he's just one of my really, really good friends. And then John Michael, he plays bass for Jack Ingram and those cats.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, man, John Michael's
You got an
awesome.
all-star
And then
band,
Kyle Schneider's Ray's drummer, and he's on there. So Kyle, as Ray would say, he's like, he keeps times like 3 pairs of Converse sneakers in a dryer.
That's awesome.
You know, they
that
got
sounds
the
like something
books
Ray
of-
would say, actually.
Of all, the books of all the yogiisms that Yogi Berra would have had.
Right.
Yeah, Ray needs a book of Rayisms.
I think.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you
Good
what,
idea.
man. He's got a
Uh-oh.
book here. Hey, y'all
Oh.
got it.
Uh-oh.
There's a. So this Dude, this is the most apropos positioning of a comma I've ever seen. A life well lived. So not
Nice.
a life well lived, but a life well lived.
Right. Yeah. I like it. I like it.
It's a good book, man. You gotta read it. It's got some greatness in it.
I was
Definitely.
telling him earlier that Ray's actually coming to my neck of the woods here, I think in May, I believe it is, with Kelly McVie.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
He's awesome. He's got a thing that he always says. As he goes, on the days that I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations, I have pretty good days.
Yeah, that's a great perspective.
I love it. It's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I want to spend some time talking about the new album. So release date is
28th, February
28th.
28th.
All right. So 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And give us just a little background. Obviously, no Ray's involved pretty heavily, but anything that you want to share with us about the new album?
Yeah, man. We what ultimately ended up happening was, I was in May of in March of 23. Ray and I were on a call completely off of a different subject than music, and I asked him if he would mind taking a call, and I had a couple of shop questions I wanted to ask him. He's like, "Yeah, sure. Here's my number." So, anyways, I get Ray's number, and I come running into the kitchen because I was like, "Honey, I got Ray's number. I'm gonna call him up, and I'm excited."
Can I text him?
And I get him on the phone, and I was like, "Hey, Ray, you know what's going on?" He said, I had a song I was gonna record. It's called "Collin County Jail." It's the number one track. The first track on this album, and I was wanting to record it here in Denton with another studio. I will leave the name out, but they wanted $3,500, and then they wanted 10% on the royalties on the back end, and so that sounded a little awkward to me. So I wanted to run that by Ray and see,
Right.
because I knew he would steer me in the right direction. So he was like, Who wants 10% on the back end? Hell, Jay Joyce doesn't get 5. So anyways, he goes, "What do you want to do with those songs?" I was like, "Well, I want to record them. I've got I got a handful of them I want to record. I got 4 of them right now, but I've got 5 more that I want to get done." He goes, "Well, send them over to me, and I'll see if they're worth the shit. We'll see if we're gonna go for it." He didn't say worth the shit, but basically that's what he's saying. But
Right.
anyways,
Between the lines.
well, I sent him to him in March, and then so March goes by, April goes by, and half of May goes by, and I just got home from the gym, and I was fixing to hop in the shower, and my phone rings, and it says Ray Wiley Hubbard on my phone, and I'm butt naked. So I went ahead and turned the shower off, and I took the phone call. I'm like, "Hey, Ray, what's going on?" And he's like, "All right, I need you to be in Dripping Springs, Texas on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going to be in studio with Tobin Dale, my son Lucas, and Pat Mansky, who did the Band of Heathens album. There in Dripping Springs. It's called the Zone Studios." And I looked at, and I was like, I never got like the in between call. Like I listened to him or whatever. So
here's what I think, right?
Yeah, man. And so I called my wife. I'm like, "Hey, it looks like we're going to be going to the Hill Country," and that was the beginning of it. And we did the first 4 songs there at the Zone. And Ray was working on a project with Jonathan Tyler.
Yep.
That he was doing, and he was like, "Do you want to finish this album over at Jonathan Tyler's?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to work with Jonathan Tyler." And so we took the rest of it, and man, dude, that dude is like, he's my boy, man. I love that guy. He's such a cool kid. He's really fun to work with. I learned a ton working with that dude. He's super smart.
Very cool.
That's how it worked, man. And then
Nice.
Now the rest of it's history. Yeah. We did a campaign. I told my story and everything, and we did this. It was a crowdfunding campaign, and all the people, dude. It was like it was an exercise in humility speaking of gratitude, I was like overwhelmed with gratitude for the entire month of that project when I was making these phone calls, because people flooded in and I raised like $25,000, and it was like all these folks sending me these messages. Like, I mean, dude, it's like, I'm sitting here the whole time going, I don't know what I do to deserve this, but this is an amazing, I mean, all it makes me want to do is just be a better version of myself.
Yeah. Well,
can you
I think that's one of those deals. Sorry, Soul Gravy.
Yep.
I think it's one of those deals that it's hard to get started because it seems super overwhelming to be like, hey, I could use a little help. But then once it gets rolling and you're reconnecting with people and you see how important you are, your music is to these folks, and it really can be kind of an overwhelming experience, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and I don't, like I said, I didn't have the pedigree, so it wasn't like I came from, a music background or didn't really have the layout. As a matter of fact, I mean, to be honest, I didn't know that there was a mechanism for survival when it came to music as your primary, source of income. So
Sure.
And it's a change, man. It's a different change, but we were able to arrange some things, and now it's actually being able to happen.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if you could kind of, for folks that aren't involved in the music scene, and might not be familiar with the fundraising part of it, can you kind of just give a quick explanation of what that is? Because I know you've done it, and if you scroll on TikTok and Instagram or whatever long enough with independent artists, you're going to run across this stuff, and you might not, we might not understand what they're asking for, or why they're asking.
It's a I've got kind of a mixed feeling, but I'll give you my honest opinion of it. Okay. And I can do this now because I just got through doing my taxes for 2024. So I can see the difference in 21, 22, 23, and 24. So if I look at the last 5 years, and then I include what the plan is for this year. So, and we'll see how that shakes out. But basically, the business mind in me tells me to look at the data as it is, right? So, like I know how much I had to drive. I know how many times I have to play. I know what mark I need to hit financially to do X, Y, Z. So, and I thought that if I did this crowdfunding thing, that 25,000 would be like, I did it in my brain. It would be like 47 shows. Okay. So I did it roughly, and we just kind of did it with what I would make selling hats, shirts, whatever. But that's kind of the way I marketed it out. But if I would say, because it's so time consuming, you have to take all your contacts and you organize them to where I organized mine where it was like inner circle people who I know. And then I do like people that I know really well, but I really haven't talked to them in like 3 or 5 years. But if I reached out to them, they're going to know if I went to high school or college or whatever, I consider that like intermediate. And then there's just like your Facebook friends, right? So then you have to kind of compartmentalize all those things. And I'll tell you, there's a group called EMG in Houston, and that's who I did this through. We put it on Indiegogo. Indiegogo.com was where the platform was that they hosted it. But EMG, it's Edgewater Music Group in Houston, actually had the formula for what to do. So they literally had scripts, you know what I'm saying? Like that you could have like first call, second call, third call as you're going through these your numbers. But you're literally making phone calls, sending emails, and contacting these people yourself. So it's time consuming. So if you're like me, an independent artist, and you book all your own shows, then dude, nobody's booking for you when you're doing this project. So stuff. This is what I had to learn the hard way. If I were to do it over again, which I probably won't do it again, because if I could do it over again, I would have hired a booking agency to work with me simultaneously, keeping the book going while I was doing that. That was an error. Juggle. So I'd say if you're doing this, don't let up on your booking, because man, you stop with booking, and you know, that's the funnel. As a business person, salesperson, you got your sales funnel, like a bunch of little marbles, and they fall out one at a time. But if you don't have enough pressure on that funnel, they don't fall out, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's kind of like
You're taking
kind of the
from
way
one
that I
pot to
see
fill
it.
up the other one.
That's it, man. So
Yeah.
you know, there's good things and bad. I think spiritually, it was the most amazing experience that I've ever literally. And I've done some. There's some crazy things that I'd put this up against, man, because it was day after day of a gratitude flood for me. And that sounds selfish, but it's like I couldn't believe that there was that many people that actually gave a shit. You know what I mean? And that was like that put all the fuel in my tank that I needed to finish this fucking project come hell or high water. Now I'm doing it for somebody else other than me. So that was kind of cool. So I wouldn't say don't do it, but I'd say strap your hat on, because it's gonna be a lot of work.
For sure.
You're doubling up your work.
Yeah, you're basically taking on another full-time job.
Right.
And then the tax stuff on all of it, it's a I don't know. That's the weeds, man. Well,
Yeah. That's that fourth piece of pie that we don't want to.
But we have the album.
yeah, the album came out like just amazing. I mean, it's better than what I had expected, because you know, and when I talked to Ray, you know, he told me, he goes, "We're not going to let anything out of here unless it's great." And I was like, oh, well, then you know what? I'm just a passenger in this. So I did everything that I could do to facilitate, like I wanted to let the guys breathe in what they could. Dude, you got Jonathan Tyler and Lucas Hubbard and John Michael, and you know, you got Cody Braun and Matt Hubbard playing the keys, who's amazing in his own right, just a flat out genius. So my idea is like, hey guys, what do you think about this song that I wrote? And they liked it. And then they went, I like this. And then, what do you think about this? I was like, fuck yeah. Sorry. But you know what I mean? I'm like, so yeah. I'm not going to impede on that. But so it's almost like I wrote the lyrics, I wrote the music, that stuff came from the creatives that we put together there. But man, I want the instrumentation to be the guys that are putting their own stuff in it, you know? Here's 100%. The problem with that. It's hard to find somebody that can play like Cody Braun live, bro.
Yeah, right, for sure.
It's hard to double up and have somebody that can play like Jonathan Tyler on a guitar or Lucas Hubbard live. You know, you got yourself to where you got to hire the guns, you know, to get it done.
Well, that's cool. Well, Soul Gravy, we are up against it on time. Do you want me to start with rapid fire before we get to the really important question and the outro song?
Yeah, I was going to ask him one more thing, and then we'll roll to that. Just because, like I don't want to say you've name dropped, because I know that's not what you were intentionally doing. But you mentioned the Charlie Crockett thing and Ray and all that. Who are some other folks, or if any, that you've kind of stumbled, you know, you found yourself around on this journey that you were like, holy shit, you know, this is ridiculous?
Well, you know, I found myself backstage sitting talking to Randy Rogers right before he was fixing it. He had his guitar on and he was just like kind of warming his hands up to get on stage. And Angela and I were just kind of visiting with him about his we were talking about Wade, about something, because I had seen Wade at Third and Lindsley out there in Nashville, and just the world is a lot smaller. And like I said, Dave Gibson wrote Daddy Never Was a Cadillac Kind.
Yep.
He wrote Queen of Memphis, bro, in Memphis, Tennessee. He wrote that song. And so I come in I'm at the local and I'm telling somebody, hey, I just opened for Confederate Railroad in Abilene, Texas. And because I got to talk to all these guys. This little guy leans over and goes, yeah, I had a couple of songs that did pretty good with those guys back in the 90s. I was like, well,
you heard of them?
Only in Nashville.
Yeah, that's cool.
Understood. All right, Tawa.
All right, here we go. Christopher, this is what we call rapid fire. Not a lot of thought to these, but we'll just see where it goes. Spotify Wrapped came out about a month and a half ago. I don't know if you use Spotify to listen to music, but any idea who maybe ended up at the top of your list from last year?
48 Winchester.
Okay. Yeah. You guys are great.
I saw them at Mile Zero. They were badass too. They're good.
Yeah, they sound great.
Yeah, they sound exactly the same as the album too, which is
they sure do.
Yep.
All right, this one is Desert Island album. You only get to pick one, but what album is going with you on that Desert Island?
Man, can it be a box set?
Yeah.
I'd go with the Pink Floyd box set.
Okay, nice.
Because if I'm on an island, I want to get out there.
Yeah.
Because if I took my country, if I took anything that like I was raised on Merle Haggard, bro. So I was raised on Merle Haggard and Hank Jr. But I think that if with that scenario, I'd want to because I'm planning on finding some mushrooms while I'm out there.
There you go. Nice. Well,
we're escaping from this island one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. What would you be doing if you weren't doing music? Have you ever thought about that?
Well, I've tried a bunch of things. I did corporate sales for a while. I got to where I was making 200 phone calls a day, and I've knocked on 50 doors a day. And I've walked on rooftops, and I've poured concrete. You know what I mean? I've done a bunch of shit. And I can tell you right now, I wouldn't do anything else, and I won't do anything else for the rest of my life because I've tried it, and it doesn't work for me. This thing right here, for some reason, it's like I fought it as long as I could. So
we're happy to hear that.
The thing I got to do.
Yeah, very cool. Dinner with one historical figure, and what would be your dinner?
Historical figure?
Yep.
Well, I've got Marcus Aurelius tattooed on my chest.
There you go.
So I study Stoicism.
He qualifies.
I'm a big fan of old ways of thinking that still make sense today because I feel like that at its core, it's right if it lasts. So I do a lot of. I'd really like to see what it's like to have the Stoic emperor, the Stoic king's ear for a moment. I bet that'd be interesting.
Very cool. What would you guys be dining on?
because Jesus wasn't available though, right?
Yeah, everybody's picked him. So
okay.
Yeah.
What would we be dining on?
Yeah,
dude, I'm gonna go with
like this is brisket.
I'm gonna go with a like it's actually a venison and sausage and beef meatloaf.
Oh,
it's like a mixed meatloaf and then with spinach and mashed potatoes.
I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, I thought you were going to try to take.
If you're in East Texas, go to Texas Music City. There's an old man named Sam that has old Sam. He actually still uses his grandma's recipe for that meatloaf that I just described. I think it's the best food in Texas.
That's good to know.
I thought you were going to take Marcus to a Buc-ee's or something,
Whataburger?
Ye old Buc-ee's. Well,
Bodacious.
that's England. Never mind. Wrong place.
This isn't part of the normal question, but have you read The Obstacle is the Way?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. Good stuff, huh?
Yeah, Ryan Holiday, man.
Yep, for sure. All right, we'll get back to rapid fire here.
How did you know to ask me that question?
Well, because you said Stoicism, so I figured I was on the right track.
Wow. So I just sent that book to a friend of mine today. As a matter of fact, he just came out with the 10th edition. He just updated it. So
part of our research, Christopher, is we plant little cameras at your place.
Okay.
So that we know what questions to ask. All right. So ideal green room. What does that look like for you?
The ideal green room would have to have it definitely have to have something with Sports Center on or some game. It has to, unfortunately I'm a suffering Cowboys fan, but I do like college basketball, baseball. I'm kind of one of those guys that grew up on sports, and I just had to swallow the pill that I was short and white in high school. So, I figured golf as far as I could go, and then, then your talent runs out. But Yeah, what was the question?
Yeah, just ideal green room. You got a nice sized TV with a game on. Anything else?
So technically, I would like to have a couple of hop waters. I found this new thing because I don't drink beer any longer. But hop water is amazing.
Okay.
There's all kinds of different spritzers and stuff that you don't have to drink anymore. You can actually have fun and still have a good time and everything, and not have to get a hangover. I dig that. So let's have some of that. Definitely have. Can we have strippers?
It's your green room, so yeah.
Oh well. Does my wife have to know about it?
Well, I don't know. This gets complicated.
No. Okay.
Well, it's kind of a fantasy green room, so
right.
It's not like this is really going to happen. So whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that there should be some distractions like that running around just in case. But other than that, I think that pretty much covers it. And a decent couch.
That's solid. All right, two more, and then I'll hand you off to Soul Gravy for the important question. So, first concert that you ever attended, and then the first concert that you attended where you paid the tab.
First concert I ever attended, I was in the 6th grade. My 6th grade teacher took me to see Skid Row open for Aerosmith.
What a cool teacher.
Yeah, Miss Gray.
Miss Crow would
LA
never take
Guns
me anywhere.
Was the opener of all. It was the very first one. This kind of dates me.
Who did you say was the first one?
LA Guns.
Okay.
LA Guns and Skid Row and Aerosmith. Yeah. That was the first time I'd ever smelled weed.
That's a lot of hair.
Was that down at where the Mavs used to play?
No, it was at Starplex.
Starplex? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, cool.
And then the first I ever picked up the tab for was probably a Garth Brooks concert there in Dallas when he was flying around. I remember when he had that one tour where he got on the wires and floated all over.
That was probably at Reunion, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right. Last question I have for you is bucket list venue. So one in Texas and one outside of Texas.
That to play or that I have played?
That you would like to play, maybe haven't played yet.
Man, I got to open for Ray at Green Hall, so that was the one that I really was amazing for me.
Sure.
I'm looking forward to playing Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing. I don't know if our Americana music is going to make it to Billy Bob's, but I have a feeling that I got enough country ran off in my ass that they'll let me in there.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And then what about outside of Texas?
Man, I want to play the Grand Ole Opry, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
who
doesn't?
That's it. I had two. I wanted to play the Grand Ole Opry and Green Hall.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Soul Gravy, you ready for the big question?
I'm ready.
All right.
And then he's going to play one more song, right? As we're getting out of this thing. Okay. All right. So the last question is started off as a joke on episode number 1, and now it is a requirement. So Christopher, what is your favorite Little Debbie snack?
Little Debbie snack? I used to call them E's because they had little E's on them. What are those called? Were they ding dongs? Is that what those were?
Oh, yeah. So those are
Hostess.
Hostess.
That's a different one, though. That's Hostess.
So,
Little Debbie?
Little Debbie would be, without giving away the answers,
Little Debbie's.
Like
Dude, I don't know that
brownies, oatmeal cream pie, that kind of stuff.
Man, I didn't eat a lot of those, dude. I didn't really eat a lot of those.
It's okay. It's all right.
Well, we just figured out that the line for Little Debbie's crosses right north of Frisco.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
further south you
Gibson
go,
line.
they're pretty popular. Yeah.
Now, like when it comes to dilly bars, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, the Dairy Queen. Yeah, for sure.
Whole different deal.
Fair enough. Well, we just get honest answers here.
That's right.
No fluff.
There you go. That's all
man.
I got for you, man. I ran out of lies.
They're in all my songs. All right, man. So tell us about this song that you've been working on.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all for indulging me with this because it's not finished.
No, Perfect.
And sorry, TikTok, that it won't let me move the puzzle piece. I've been trying, so it's gonna cut off in a minute. So sorry. But
That's all right.
continue on.
Join us on YouTube.
Yeah, we're still live everywhere else.
So this song, it's called "Price of Paradise." Angela and I, when we were at Mile Zero, and this little lady was driving the lift around, and it was cold and rainy and everything out there this last couple of weeks, and anyways, she was like, I would love to be underneath my covers, but I gotta be out here in the cold weather chasing y'all crazy people around because it costs to live in paradise. And I was like, wow, you know what? It does cost to live in paradise. So I wrote this song called "Price of Paradise." See what you think. Something like this. At a mansion in the Hamptons, a ragtop Porsche, a private plane. He was born with a silver spoon, and he filled it with cocaine. He kept chasing higher high, never thinking about the harm. They found his body in the mountain, with an eagle in his arm. That's the price of paradise. That's the price of paradise. She was born a small town beauty, big time curves in a cotton dress. She was living in a trailer till she caught a rich man's friend. Now she's his business in his penthouse, but all he cares about is power. And she feels like a prisoner trapped in an ivory tower. That's the price of paradise. Yeah, that's the price of paradise. Sometimes the pleasure ain't worth a thing when you count the costs. Ain't no treasure you can gain to make up for what you lost. And that's a price. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. There's something in the end of it that doesn't sit right with me just yet, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I dig it. It's like Jamie and Whitey got together to sing "Rose in Paradise." It has a little bit of that theme there.
Yeah. Because of the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, that's kind of where I felt that, like, when Tom, I wrote that with Tom Leonard's. He brought that up too, and I was like, yeah, man, that's right. It does kind of have that vibe about it, but I love that song.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's an underrated Waylon song for sure.
So just to point out, so we played your song off of my tablet earlier, right? And the it just kind of I guess just picks what you think would be similar, that I would listen to or whatever through through the Spotify algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
The next song was a Mickey and the Motor Cars song. So
Cool.
How about that?
Cool. Hey, I'll
know.
take that. Hell yeah. I like
Absolutely.
it. I love those guys.
Yeah,
so
super cool.
I thought that kind of connected the dots pretty good. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right,
Were they listening?
maybe
they might have been. You never know. You never know who's watching this.
They
this
put
whole-
cameras in my room too. Son
Right.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
All kinds of research. Man, we appreciate you hanging out with us tonight, and look forward to seeing you face to face soon. And
Yeah.
y'all, if you haven't already followed, make sure you go follow Christopher. Find him wherever you stream your music. Those follows are important. It helps open doors for gigs and all kinds of stuff. So if you don't mind, please do. Also follow along on socials, interact. That's why we bring these folks to you. So
Man, I'm hoping to. I had the opportunity to go to Mile Zero this year, and I wasn't able to swing it. But next year it is game on. So
Yep.
it sucks that I didn't get to.
Well,
come down there, but
before you say anything, I was told by everybody there that was like, have you ever gone on vacation and like the people are like, man, last week was great. And next week is supposed to be great. But the week that you have, the weather's terrible.
I heard
That's
it wasn't
what happened
great.
at Mile Zero. That thing's been going on for 8 years, and everybody that was there had been going there for 8 years. Like, the weather was never this bad.
Yeah, it was
You
rough.
didn't miss it.
yeah, no, but still, there was probably I didn't count them, but there's probably 30 people that have been on the podcast that were there this year.
I mean, like if you
And
fought,
a lot
if your
of
eye was
new
fighting
people.
through the freezing weather, it was pretty cool.
There were several that it was their first trip down there, and I would have loved, like the Low Water Bridge boys. That was their first year.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would have liked to see that with them.
Yes.
I guess was my point. So
Yeah,
sure.
man. Yeah.
But anyways, like you said, I appreciate the time, man. And anything that comes along the way, definitely just reach out to us. We'll share anything that helps. So.
Very cool. Well, it's great chatting with you guys. I appreciate the time.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, man. Take care.
All right, brother. Y'all have a good
All
one.
right. Thanks.